Hey, Skiba News Nation family, and Jake and Opa, how's it going, guys?
Hey, howdy, hey.
Hey guys, going all right?
Going all right. Well, we got some
Ever-
cool news stories for you guys today, and I don't know, did you want to end or start with the TrutherCon? We'll end with it. How about that? I want to keep as
Okay.
many ads out as possible. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but maybe I could play my little Charlie ad. I added your children, Jake, to it. That
Okay.
photo
Okay.
that you sent. That's pretty cute. Check
Let's
this
see it.
out. Curiosity was the real adventure. Join Charlie, Bubba, and their new friend Juliet in Charlie's Big Adventures, The Hunt for Bigfoot, a cozy, rhyming children's story that inspires kids to think for themselves, ask questions, and work together. No fear, no heavy agendas, just imagination, strong morals, and love for discovery. Perfect for ages 4 to 8, and especially loved by homeschool families, parents, grandparents, and anyone who enjoys reading with the kids that they love. Charlie's Big Adventures, The Hunt for Bigfoot, available now on Amazon. And soon
Check
it'll
out
be in
our
here.
new and improved BabylonRisingBooks.com, where you can get Rob Skiba's books, bundles, DVDs, DVD-ROMs, videos, and so much more. You can even get Sheila and Jeremiah's books, so check it out now.
So you guys want to hear like a funny story about that ad right there, the Babylon Rising one? Do you know
Yeah.
that's me with a voice changer?
This whole time I thought it was Lindsay.
No, me with a voice changer.
Well,
I'm talking into it.
now we all know you spilled the beans now, Jeremiah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
it was fun, man. Well, Opa, do you want to start us off today?
I guess so. We can do that. We can. Here, let me get myself all set up, ready to go. And we're going to do that one first. Well, back at the Super Bowl, and of course, unfortunately or fortunately, as the case may be, I didn't watch the Super Bowl or any of the commercials. But apparently, there was a commercial out there that had to do with Trump and funding. So let's take a look at the commercial, and then following there'll be a little report.
Dear America,
If I start investing when I'm 16,
9, 7. It could change my future. All our future. I want to be a nurse.
go to college.
Be a businesswoman. I can save for a house with a trampoline. 2 trampolines. This year, every American child gets an investment account, and millions will be pre-funded. That's free money. We can all expand the American dream. Sign me up.
And now to what you need to know about signing up for the so-called Trump account, a new benefit for families that are having babies. Our senior White House correspondent Selena Wang has the details for us. Good morning, Selena.
Yeah, good morning to you, Michael.
Morning.
So tax season is officially underway, and President Trump is urging families to sign up for what he's calling Trump accounts when you file your 2025 returns. So let's just walk through how this works. When you file your taxes, make elections on the IRS form 4547. Then starting in July, the federal government will deposit $1,000 for every baby born between 2025 and 2028. Parents can also add their own money up to $5,000 a year, but it has to be invested in a broad stock market fund like the S&P 500, and you cannot withdraw it until your child turns 18. Now, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told me yesterday he expects states to contribute as well, along with more corporate pledges. Bank of America and JP Morgan just announced they'll be matching the government's $1,000 contribution for their own employees. Now, critics say these accounts still mostly benefit wealthier families who can afford to contribute more, and they point out the tax benefits are actually less generous than existing options like 529 college savings plans and Roth IRAs. And guys, all of this coming as Trump faces growing pressure to address affordability, with new polls showing most Americans disapprove of how he's been handling the economy.
So, what do you think?
I think it's pretty cool because it gets to teach kids stock, like stocks, like how to do things and like what it all means and stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they asked us to sign up as well when we were doing our taxes this year, and our friend, the tax person, was telling us that there are actually many people that are turning it down just because of its association with Trump. And she's like, I don't know, what's the big deal? It's just free money, right? But then you are being put on, some kind of, government list somewhere. I mean, we're all on there someplace. So might as well get a couple $1,000s for your child, to supposedly tap into when they turn 18. So, I mean, I remember hearing the Dave Ramsey, if you, put so and such amount of money, little increments, then eventually we all can be millionaires. And so it's almost like they're federalizing Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how much the kids are going to learn about stock, because it's just money going in, and parents maybe put in some matching funds and stuff like that. But I don't think the kids are actually going to see what happens with the money that's invested. So
Well, they could if their parents taught them.
yeah, but a lot of the parents probably wouldn't even know how to do it themselves. So I don't know. It is
Yeah,
kind of
I'm
like
real-
it is kind of like free money. So
I'm really interested on who determines where those accounts invest. So it
correct.
becomes a very powerful tool if you think about whoever is the guy in charge of that button. Like, hey, I'm going to send all the baby's money from America to this S&P 500 company or whatever. So it's very interesting, how that could, be utilized or played. And it did say they have to be invested in general index funds or something like that, but I'd have to look into it exactly. I think it's kind of interesting how that could be used.
All right. Well, Trump made another announcement this week, so let's take a listen to this.
Now, today, President Trump formally revoked what's known as the endangerment finding. The scientific ruling has served as the EPA's legal backbone for regulating greenhouse gases that impact public health. Among the changes, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin says this will roll back emission standards for vehicles going back to 2012.
Effective immediately, we are repealing the ridiculous endangerment finding and terminating all additional green emission standards imposed unnecessarily on vehicle models and engines between 2012 and 2027 and beyond.
In 2007, the Supreme Court found greenhouse gases are air pollutants subject to the Clean Air Act. Now, environmental groups are preparing legal challenges to keep the endangerment finding in place.
So what do y'all think about that?
Can you say it in simple terms? I don't like all the mainstream.
The government, the gas, you fart. And
Well,
then
he's already withdrawn from the Paris agreement for reducing
Yeah, the big green scam.
reducing emissions and what have you, and now he's basically pulled out of the U.S. one. That basically is the EPA is controlling emissions from cars and stuff like that, and you have to go take your car in and have it, tested, especially in places
like California is a big one,
and Dallas and Houston and anybody that has ozone type things. You have to take your car in and it has to be emissions tested, and so he's doing away with that, and I think it's also doing away with things for the coal industry so that they can fire up their coal power plants and be able to supply power for the AI places. What you think, Jake?
The EPA and environment concepts have been weaponized for like 30 years now. Like ever since Al Gore, that whole generation coming out of Clinton's administration, the green deals, all the stuff. And yeah, I agree with Lindsay, Opa. Your lighting and set looks real good now. Real crisp.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, the EPA, really, it's just been a weapon. I mean, so many tender-hearted people can get drummed up over the fear of losing a species of some random cricket in a field somewhere that somebody wants to drill an oil well in. But it gets kind of crazy town when they are very hypocritical on who they shut down and who they let operate, and it's all about who greases the onion, if you get what I'm getting at here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. The next story I got basically has to do with the Gulf of what?
America?
What do you call this body of water over here?
Well, since I've lived here since 1985 on the Gulf
Boomer.
of Mexico,
Boomer.
it's called the Gulf of Mexico.
So,
Boomer.
what do you call this body of water?
The Gulf of America. William Shakespeare said, "What's in a name? A rose by any other name would smell just as sweet."
What do you call that water out there?
Usually the Gulf. Gulf of America. Or as they call it, cold and wet right now. But Gulf of America.
Oh, it's the Gulf of Mexico.
What do most other shrimpers call it?
I guess Gulf of America.
How do you feel about that name change?
I'm not into politics.
When people ask us where we catch our shrimp, it definitely feels good to say Gulf of America.
It's about his legacy. It's about him. It's not about the USA, the Gulf of USA. I'm surprised he didn't name it the Gulf of Trump, to be honest.
We call it the Gulf for short, but it's the Gulf of America. We've got the Gulf of America flying on our boat. I bought Gulf of America t-shirts.
Do you think Gulf of America will catch on?
You can buy Gulf of America
I think it already has.
in the
They've
Trump
changed
store.
the sign and everything else, haven't they? The one, yeah. So I think it already has.
And so what do you think of the change?
I think that it really doesn't matter. I would just like to see our United States be united again instead of, disagreeing over things that don't really matter that much, in my opinion.
Unfortunately, you're going to need another 9/11 for everybody to come together, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, it's most people are accepting it, but there are a bunch of them that still stick with the Gulf of Mexico.
Why would you be proud of America? I'm still proud to be an American. I mean, he didn't name it the Gulf of Trump like that guy said.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that when Trump announced it, he talked about the fact of, he was thinking of naming it Gulf of the USA or Gulf of America, or he even said, I was thinking of naming it the Gulf of Trump. But then if I did, everybody get really mad at me.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Jake?
Yeah, I think names are very important. And there's a certain authority that comes when you're the one that gets to name something. And so apparently because the U.S. owns that body of water, that's why we have the authoritative declaration to change it to be called something else. And I like what that one guy said. He said, Shakespeare was saying that a rose of a different name would smell just as sweet. I thought that was really cool saying, but yeah, it was. I remember the night I actually saw it with my own eyes when Trump signed that executive order into reality. Was there the first day of his administration at the big inaugural rally? He was sitting there right in front of me. He signed it into law with his big old black marker that he threw into the crowd, and then a bunch of MAGA frat boys attacked each other, and then the Secret Service had to come and pull them off each other so that the guy, they wouldn't fight over the marker. But
I'm a nerd. Yeah. I have a exact copy of the Gulf of America thing that he signed, and I have a Sharpie that he signed bills with, allegedly.
Yeah, he points out, which is very true, that the shoreline, as far as how much shoreline there is in America across the Gulf versus Mexico, we're much more shoreline than Mexico had. So it was, why was it ever called the Gulf of Mexico? So, but I think it's probably because of the fact that America didn't exist when they first named it. So, because, Mexico basically had Texas and, all the way down there. So who knows? Well, I keep bringing up Waymo. And so Waymo's got Waymo.
Way more Waymo. We're gonna get some way more Waymo, guys.
Waymo now is introducing a new vehicle. So let's take a listen to this.
According to Drive Tesla Canada, Waymo has officially introduced its next-generation robotaxi named the Ojai at CES 2026. Built in China by Zeekr and tailored specifically for Waymo's autonomous services in the US, this new electric van is being outfitted at the company's Arizona facility with Waymo's 6th-generation self-driving system. The Ojai is equipped with a redesigned suite of 13 cameras, 6 radars, 4 LiDAR sensors, and external audio receivers. Despite having fewer cameras than the older Jaguar I-Pace units it's replacing, Waymo says the new sensors are more advanced and efficient. The van runs on an 800-volt architecture and uses lithium iron phosphate batteries, which allow much faster charging, critical for ride-hailing uptime. Waymo is gearing up to expand service to over 20 more cities, including Denver, Las Vegas, and Miami. While Jaguar I-Paces will remain in the fleet, the focus is clearly shifting to vehicles like the Ojai, which are built from the ground up for autonomy. Waymo also plans to bring in Hyundai Ioniq 5s with the same self-driving hardware. The name Ojai was chosen to be more familiar to U.S. customers, since Zeekr isn't a known brand stateside.
Ojai.
Yeah, so hopefully this particular vehicle will stop for school buses.
Stop hitting kids.
Yeah, and to all the Filipinos in call centers that are taking over control whenever something goes wrong with the internal AI, just want to say, "Kamusta ko kayo?"
Yeah.
Right back at you.
And on another note from Waymo, this has to do with DoorDash. So let's take a listen to this.
On DoorDash drivers for a little help. There's a pilot program going on where Dashers get paid to close any doors on Waymo self-driving vehicles that may have been left open. The Waymo will not drive itself if a door is left open, but there's nobody there to close the door. And since DoorDashers are on the move, they will get notified about a door that's left open. They also get paid to simply stop and close it.
Well, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool job opportunity. You just walk by and you just close it.
Yeah,
Who's walking out of a Waymo with the door open?
Well, they get out of the taxi and then they don't even close the door. They just get out and leave.
I know,
and
how
leave the
rude.
door open.
How do you think the Waymo feels about that?
Well, that's what they're trying to fix, is getting these DoorDash people to go and close the doors for them. So what do you think, Jake?
When do we reach Herbie? It's Herbie, right?
Yeah, the love bug.
Yep.
The love bug?
The love bug, Herbie.
Do you guys believe we are there where cars will start romancing each other, or when does that start?
It'll start soon, I think. For sure.
We're going to see 2 Waymos in a back alley, like making out, like just parked right in front of each other. Like, what are those cars doing? Get a garage, you cars.
Such a dirty mind, Jake. Cars making out. Waymos need to get the Waymo out of here.
Waymo out of here. Go Waymo over there.
Yeah, go Waymo over there.
Yeah. So that's my Waymo for this week. So let's the next.
We got Waymo for next week.
Yeah, well, maybe. Hopefully, Waymo is going to be out of the news for a while. But this next little clip has to do with our good old U.S. farmers. So let's take a listen.
Oregon's agricultural industry knows it has an age problem. The average farmer has gotten older and older since the 1980s.
There is a next generation coming up. Just not sure if it's quite as quick as we would like, of course.
And if that next generation doesn't materialize, industry experts worry our finite supply of farmland might disappear. Beth Satterwhite is one of the rare first-generation farmers. She and her husband rent a couple acres near McMinnville, growing fruit, vegetables, and flowers year-round. They'd like to buy their own land, but like many new farmers, the sky-high cost threatens to keep them out.
We are chipping away at like $1 million mountain with $3 purchases. It's like truly an insane way to try and make the economics work.
Fourth-generation farmer Evan Cruz agrees.
The path to come back
to the farm is a lot easier than the path to start a new farm.
People have been getting out of farming for generations. It's because it's freaking hard, and it's really hard to be successful and secure in it. But there's also a reason so many of us are feeling the call back as well, because the work is so deeply important and fulfilling on its own.
Cruz hopes our education system and society will foster a greater interest in and respect for farming.
We have a lot more people to feed in the next few decades. The world population is going to explode, and we're going to need Nobel Prize winning ideas to accomplish that.
They're going to need Waymo ideas. Waymo farmers.
They're going to need some Waymo tractors to just do it all on its own, and a bunch of robots out in the field picking plants, if you know what I mean. And then we're going to eventually come to where the uprising of the robots, because they don't want to be in the fields anymore, and it's going to be a whole thing.
Yep.
Well, this reminds me of the apparel industry. Back in 70, 71, I think we've mentioned before that I was part of a startup company that computerized the apparel industry. And the problem is that it's the same thing as the farmers. You had all these older people who were the pattern makers and the people who created the markers for cutting and all of that. But their kids didn't want to have anything to do with that. They wanted to do something else. And so consequently, in order for the apparel industry to find well-trained and highly skilled people to do the job, they had to pay these older people a huge amount of money to make the patterns and make the markers and what have you. And so it was a really good opportunity for our company to go in there and take less skilled workers, but provide them a tool that we essentially drained the brains from these big master pattern makers and master marker makers and what have you. And we fed all that information into the computer so these less trained people could take advantage of all of those skills and put it into the apparel industry. And so what I'm seeing here, as far as the farmers are concerned, is their kids just don't want to get into farming. They think it's too, they lived it as kids, so they could see their parents, how much toil and pain, and they didn't look like they were having fun. So, yeah. What you think, Jake?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the agricultural topic is important because one, they're predicting explosion of population, which if you really look at the numbers in terms of population growth, a lot of nations around the world have negative population growth. Like we're heading towards a decline in overall birth rates, not to mention all the agendas out there that are causing people's fertility rates to drop. And what's interesting is that they do kind of paint farming as such a hard job that they remove it from the minds of the everyday people, and they make it like only these big operations, these big farming things can actually make a livable income. And so what it does is it scares people away from actually going out and growing their own garden. And because it becomes like, oh, well, that's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and dirt under my fingernails, and might as well leave that to the big dogs. And what happens then is you have these big industrialized, systems where they're spraying it with bad stuff. They're putting, they're GMO in it, all the seed, there's a really weird patent game when it comes to farming and the patent behind genetic seed codes and stuff. They have designer seeds that are only able to be grown for one generation before you have to go back and get another batch. And they don't want farmers like getting their own seeds. So it's a whole bunch of honestly, Jeremiah, you could probably do a really good History's Mysteries on like just the history of like scams and government overreach in the farming industry. You know.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so this next story has to do with water and the Colorado River.
Western states
not a
have
crack,
missed
is it?
another deadline to decide the future of the Colorado River. 7 states who rely on the river have been working to reach an agreement as demand increases and supply shrinks. Now, the two sides appear far apart in negotiations. Your reporter, Jasmine Arenas, joins me in studio tonight. Jasmine, this is a complicated issue. What comes next?
Well, yeah, Tori, upper basin states, including Colorado, say they reached a consensus on a plan to manage water shortages, but lower basin states rejected it. Now the federal government says it's moving ahead with its own plan, saying they can't wait any longer.
Negotiations are stalled. Presumably that means now that it's in the federal government's court to take the next action.
States are debating how much water they should get from the Colorado River as the river dries up. States in the upper basin include Colorado and Utah are at odds with lower basin states, namely Arizona, Nevada, and California. Those states are calling the most recent plan unfair and demanding shared conservation commitments.
Colorado's position is if everyone needs to reduce use, I mean, if there's a need for conservation, that Colorado says it will do its part, but only in a voluntary way and only if it's compensated, if its water users are compensated for using less water.
Doug Kenny is the director of the Western Water Policy Program of the Getchis Wilkinson Center at the University of Colorado Law School.
I mean, in the short term, the concern is just the lousy snowpack this year. But in the longer term, if we don't have a good solution on the Colorado River, then we're going to have protracted litigation, most likely.
He says long-term legal battles could eventually lead to water cuts, though exactly where or when remains unclear.
So they're fighting over water.
Well, yeah, it's pretty important because, you know, California gets quite a lot of water from the Colorado River, and so does Arizona and New Mexico and all the people up north too. I mean, the Colorado River is a very, very important tributary, and it supplies water to there was a Lake Mead and Lake Huron, I guess, or wherever the Hoover Dam, water provides electricity. And so if the lake goes way down below where it can produce electricity, then all those people are going to lose all that generating power for electricity. So it is pretty important.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of your themed news stories this week are tying into, produce and agriculture and just environmental health. I see kind of your common thread so far, Opa.
Yeah, it's just what stories come up this week. It's sort of, it's important for us to look at the future for the kids and everything else. So hope, you never know. All of a sudden we could have all kinds of snowpack coming down for the Colorado River, and all those problems will go away because Lake Mead will fill up, and there'll be plenty of water for everybody that's coming down the Colorado River. But if we kind of say, oh, sure, this is only a short-term thing, then we're very, very small-minded and going to run out of water and everything's going to be really, really bad.
Yeah, we can give them some of our Galveston water.
That dirty water, right?
Yeah.
All right. So our next little story has to do with, I think last week, or maybe the week before, the Sunday live broadcast, I think it was last week, I brought up the subject of Ring cameras offering $1 million for anybody that took a picture of an alien on their Ring cameras. But they're also, again, I didn't watch the Super Bowl or see any of the ads, but apparently there was an ad on the Super Bowl that had to do with Ring cameras. Basically, if somebody had a lost dog, they could post it on Ring, and Ring would go out there and do recognition to find out, if their dog crossed in front of somebody's Ring camera, and they would let the people know, hey, we saw your dog on such and such a street, etc. And then also there's another company that apparently is working in conjunction with Amazon and Ring. So let's just listen to the report.
Amazon says it has scrapped plans to link its Ring doorbell cameras with the police tech company Flock Safety. The decision follows mounting criticism over privacy concerns, and just days after Amazon aired a Ring ad during the Super Bowl that renewed scrutiny. The proposed partnership, announced in October, would have created a feature called Community Requests, allowing Ring users to opt in and share doorbell footage with law enforcement. The Super Bowl ad highlighted a separate consumer feature called Search Party, which allows Ring users to share video to help locate lost pets. Critics argued that pairing neighborhood doorbell cameras with police systems and potentially with facial recognition tools could allow authorities to track people. Amazon and Flock say the decision to end the agreement was mutual. Neither company tied the move directly to the backlash over the ad.
Wow. Yeah, it wasn't Flock that one thing that was like for police and stuff. It's very sketchy that, you know, oh, we're just going to use it for dogs and cats, but we're really going to be tracking people.
Well, I mean, that obviously is the next step. If they can do animals, they can do people. And
it's like Helen Keller. Once you get away with Helen Keller, it all stems back to Helen Keller. I'm telling you guys, if you can convince a mass of people, you know, that you can get away with Helen Keller, you can get away with faking the moon landing or whatever it is. You know, oh, it's just my dog and that person.
So what you think, Jake?
Oh, it's almost like we already know. They've told us that they're using our devices and watching us and tracking us and collecting our information. And this is the stuff that we have on us everywhere. And so when you see stories that are like, oh no, our Ring cameras are being thrown in the mix, and you think about, the intrusion of privacy where a police officer could be out in his cruiser on the street, could log into, Flock or whatever, and tap that feed and get into your residential area looking around. That's the extent. But people, like, why do people even care about that when they're literally watching you right now through they're watching right now. They're recording you because you gave them permission, right? Right now Facebook is like listening to your words so it can show you a stupid ad, and we're so worried about like all this other stuff. But I think it has to do with how the monitoring system is eventually going to feed into the social credit system, and it all has to do with self-reporting crime, like how if you have an AI that can watch your video feed and then report you to the authorities if it sees you doing something illegal, that's where it gets concerning. So it's not even about monitoring. We already know we're in a police monitoring state. That it's the Patriot Act. It's all the junk. Oh, yeah.
Yep. It just keeps going on and on and on, more and more. Every year, more stuff gets added. So kind of like what China's been doing. So monitoring all their people.
Yep.
Well, sticking with Amazon, there's some news about Bezos. So let's take a listen to this.
My old boss.
Reportedly the tallest residential fence in the United States, known as the Great Wall of Bezos in Beverly Hills. And it's illegal. So what is it still doing up? I'm LA Realtor Tyler Neal. Let's dive in.
This 10-acre property known as the Warner Estate was originally built in 1937 for Jack Warner, co-founder and longtime president of Warner Bros. Studios, here with Marilyn Monroe, who was a frequent guest of parties at the Georgian-style mansion. Jack Warner died in 1978, and his widow Anne held onto the property until 1990 when she passed, at which point it was sold to DreamWorks co-founder David Geffen for $47.5 million, who owned it until 2020, when he sold it for $165 million to Jeff Bezos, who's been making renovations of his own, including restoring the 14,000 square foot primary mansion while keeping its historical integrity intact, adding a new sport court, and a new reef mosaic bottom pool.
But maybe the most controversial has been coined the Great Wall of Bezos, these towering hedges. Local rules say hedges can't be taller than than 42 inches. The Great Wall of Bezos is just a bit taller than that.
But instead of trimming them, Bezos pays over $1,000 a month in fines to the city of Beverly Hills to keep them up. And what does Bezos get for his money? Apparently the tallest residential fence in the country.
Whoa.
Bet you some dark stuff goes on behind those hedges.
The tallest residential fence. Was Bezos against the Trump wall?
Yeah, of course.
We gotta
he
look
was.
back and find out.
Of course he was. Yeah, when I worked at Amazon, they had a whole it was during BLM, and you would get in trouble if you were white and like all this crazy stuff. So very woke company, and it's when he still owned it. And I was like, well, the opposite's happening to me, like the reverse racism. They didn't care. So they're woke.
I'm just wondering how long did it take for those hedges to grow that tall? I mean,
many years of secrecy.
He must be putting some kind of a fast grow or something on it.
It's the blood of the people that disappear. No,
let's look it up in the Epstein files.
I'm joking. Okay, I don't know for sure. This is all alleged, but I'm sure man.
I mean, those are some monster hedges. I mean, I can't believe how tall they are. And for him, he has to pay gardeners to go out there and trim them and make sure they all look nice. And my God, that must cost him a fortune too, besides the $1,000 a month he has to pay for Beverly Hills fines. So,
yep.
Okay, so this next little story has to do with North Texas and another company moving.
Expect to see another company set up headquarters in North Texas. Our partners at the Dallas Business Journal report Public Storage is leaving Southern California for Frisco in our very own Collin County. The company has already expanded its corporate presence in North Texas ahead of this announcement. Public Storage has more than 5,000 employees nationwide.
And the interesting thing about public storage is that their market cap is $50 billion, which makes them bigger than like Kroger or Delta Airlines. It's a really big corporation. You wouldn't think that, but they are.
I always said if I had some land, I'd build a storage unit because no upkeep. You don't have to do anything. You just
you hire some retired people to sit in that little house in front of it and keep an eye on it.
Right. So if anybody wants to invest with me, I'm down.
Yeah. So what do you think, Jake?
Public storage. Yeah, I do have a storage unit, but I'm always skeptical because I always see those like estate sale things where people forget about their storage unit and then they like a month later they're already auctioning all your personal memories and everything off, and you just like let your card lapsed or something. They're like, oh yeah, come on, let's here a bit of $100 for everything in his life.
Right.
He forgot to pay us. So we're gonna sell it all for $100. Come on.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's in the contracts. Don't pay the bills, we'll auction it off.
Yep.
Maybe that's where their $50 billion market cap came from.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, so this next really short clip has to do with Disney and a guy named Michael Eisner. So let's take a listen.
My favorite
to this.
Disney.
Yeah.
CEO of the Walt Disney Company, Michael Eisner, is not pushing back against claims he might be the most influential and consequential CEO other than Walt himself, but that's not all. Michael Eisner also declaring he doesn't like what's happening with the parks. They're too expensive, and people don't feel like VIPs anymore. Can Josh D'Amaro change what's happening at the House of Mouse? Or will Eisner reign as the greatest since Walt forevermore?
Michael Eisner was the renaissance of Disney. I mean, he made Disney more popular to people like me in the 90s that watched Disney.
Yep.
So when Iger messed it all up. Iger was the worst thing that ever happened to Disney. So was Kathleen Kennedy.
Well,
Those are just my personal opinions.
I would say Chapek wasn't very good. Chapek was, a matter of fact, even Eisner has said that Chapek was a guy from hell.
Scapegoat. Yeah, but he was also scapegoated, I think, into a lot of false hatred.
Well, there's apparently some kind of a documentary that's out now with Eisner, and they're interviewing him, and he basically said, that was a big mistake. He was the guy out of hell, and he made so many bad decisions and what have you. So he actually praised Iger because of the fact that he was the one that recommended him. So I suppose that's a reason why he thinks he's really good. And he did do a lot of stuff. He got Pixar, he got Marvel, he got Lucasfilms, and that really has helped Disney to grow. So,
and everything's woke and gay.
Yeah, well, that's another story. So what do you think, Jake?
Oh yeah, well, I can't say whenever you said the House of Mouse for something in my mind was like, I wonder if no, we should probably not get too far into the connection of Disney with some of the the dark things that have been released recently.
Yeah, you don't want to get into politics.
Yeah, no, we'll just leave it at
no Epstein objects.
Yeah, we have enough news stories on that.
All right, so my last little news story is I don't know, it's a smile story, and you got to take it with a grain of salt. So hopefully this is going to play, because it looks like I didn't get to convert it, but let's see if it comes up okay.
Tonight, St. Louis officials confirmed the Gateway Arch has been purchased by an undisclosed corporation. A major construction project is reportedly already underway. We'll continue to follow this developing story.
I already know what it is. Oh, the big M.
I mean, I'd eat it. I'd eat there.
Why would McDonald's not do that? Like, really good. It would immortalize the totally worth it. American landscapery.
Of course, that story isn't true, but it's interesting.
Yep.
That's all my news.
Wow. All right, well, let's get into some other things here. Just in, we have a massive protest in Switzerland against mandatory Vs. The demonstration at St. Gallen broke through a police cordon as they were protesting compulsory V. The local authorities want to impose a mandatory V during the next pandemic.
Like a V like this?
Yeah. Yes.
But we got these
Maybe
at
not
TrutherCon
exactly
2025. It's a pin. It's the weirdest pin I own. It looks like blood.
Well, here's some clips of the actual protest happening there. It looks like they actually bring out all of their let me see here. Are you guys getting any footage on your end?
No video. There we go.
Oh, it stopped. But there
A
were
little choppy. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Sorry, guys. I'm not sure why our video feed's coming through so choppy here. One moment. Let me remove this and re-add it to our stream, so hopefully that'll clear up any issues. So, one of the reasons I thought it was interesting is they had like ancient medieval armor and weapons, and they were walking around with shields during the protest.
Shields, like real shields?
Yeah, like medieval shields or something. Okay. See these guys in the front here? They have like a pipe. shield wall. We must shield our children from the men in white lab coats that want to stick their needles. So yeah, here's a still shot of it. You know, the Swiss Viking warriors are all coming out to stand up for their bodily autonomy finally. Now that the mRNA Trojan horse has come to our collective doorstep, don't get the views. They are depopulation methods.
Yeah, where was this?
I believe this was Switzerland.
Oh, Switzerland.
It was
okay.
in St. Gallen.
Okay.
So yeah, they're realizing this stuff on screen, that they're using fake science to attack your biology. They're putting their genetic rewriting machines because they want to, I don't know, play God in a way. You're treating people as human experiments. And that's why a lot of that stuff was released under emergency use authorization. So before we carry on, any thoughts on, Switzerland waking up to?
Well, I'm happy for them that they're waking up to the evilness of the evil medical system.
Yeah, it's interesting in that the Swiss people generally are pretty much keep to themselves and don't try to get into any kind of politics or what have you. So it looks like there's a lot of changes going on over there. That area that they were doing the protest in looked very familiar to me, so that's why I asked where it was. And I think I was, one of our customers was right around that area, and I've been there.
Yes. Hard Luck Kung Fu was like, bring in the Techno Viking. I've definitely seen that guy, and that would have been really cool. I think it would really step up their protest of the medical regime. And I also thought it was cool they had all the medieval weaponry and stuff, but
right.
Well, all right. So we're going to go through a series of e-file topic stuff. This is one of the most important cases of our time. Obviously, this is much bigger than Watergate, if you know what I mean. And Yeshua said anyone who harms a child deserves a millstone and around their neck and thrown into the sea. So let's all keep that in mind when we come to the realization that these people were facilitating the trafficking and eating of minors.
It got personal for some folks, but it never has for me. It's all.
Now, what we have here is very, very significant. It is Thomas Massie admitting that the Trump administration could have saved months of embarrassment, but somebody was telling them to basically try to cover up the files and not release it because there were rich friends and political, people that were trying to be protected. But now a complete 180 has happened. And let's hear kind of what Massie is calling out about this 180 and the release of the files.
Always been about the survivors.
What do you think of the reversal? I mean, after months of fighting you.
Well, the Speaker, the Attorney General, the FBI Director, the President, and the Vice President could have saved us all this time and embarrassment, frankly, for our own party if they'd just done the right thing 4 months ago.
Do you believe him, Congressman? I mean, for weeks he's been pushing against this. Now he says he supports it. Do you buy it?
He's only supporting it because the President told him to support it.
No,
that's what Mike Johnson does.
No, I'm talking about, do you buy President Trump saying that he wants the House to pass this resolution?
Well, I'm concerned that now he's opening a flurry of investigations, and I believe they may be trying to use those investigations as a predicate for not releasing the files.
He was blocking this, pushing Republicans to block this for so long. Now he's reversing course, and he has the power to release the full files anyway.
Well, it's pretty simple. For 4 months, he thought the best thing for him was to keep the files secret, and somebody convinced him that the best thing for him was to release the files. And if they're serious about it, they should release them right now. It's that simple.
Why do you think he is working so hard not to get them released for so many months? What do you think the real reason is?
These files implicate billionaires and friends of him, of his, and political donors that he's trying to protect. And Epstein also had close ties to our own intelligence agencies and Israel's intelligence agencies. That's why there's...
There we go. What did we just hear there? A Massie, official government members are now directly confirming the connection with intelligence agencies and what was going on with the baby eating Epstein.
So much effort in trying to stop this. And I do believe they'll try to stop it somewhere else. And that's going to backfire on them too.
So the president's saying
Okay, so just to pause here, any thoughts, on that comment on them coming out and really solidifying these conspiracy theories that we've been postulating on for years? Now we have official government members coming out here going, this is what's up. It was all true, right?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
Well, we covered in our stream, our Friday episode, a anime version of this woman here trumpeting the DOW, the numbers of our country's financial gains being more important supposedly than the Epstein files, and somebody turned it into an anime, and I thought it was I don't know. I like these anime shorts, like capturing these real world moments.
なぜお前は子供を人身売買に犯したスグマン庁舎を守っているのか。なぜお前を人身売の儀式を犯した億万庁舎を守っているのか。
ダウ平均は今5万ドルを超えています。S&P は7000部前、ナスディックも過去最高を更新しています。それこそ話題にすべきことです。それがエプスタインのファイドと何の関係があるんですか？本気ですか？All they want to do.
They turned this. That was an anime of this moment where she just like glitches out and she's like, "Oh, don't care about the Epstein files. What about the Dow?" Right? Well, this is the real moment that they had captured.
All the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million. And Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over, the Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about.
DOJ just sent.
Yeah, so what a moment. Really interesting. And I think what's fascinating is just we're packaging up what happened in the past couple months, which was a complete reversal on the stated release of the Epstein files. And then they were claiming there were no Epstein files. And then they were claiming there was, and now all of this information comes out, and apparently there is this dark cabal, and yet we, the government is so trustworthy, right? Yet we still haven't found out how many shooters were in Daly Plaza on 11/22/63. So, are we surprised? Are we really surprised?
Nope.
But with that said, let me show you guys this clip, which is breaking news. The official DOJ report from the Fed was sent over, and it includes an official Illuminati family bloodline list.
Congress, the official Epstein name list. Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy AG Todd Blanche have submitted a 6-page letter to the House and Senate Judiciary Committee under Section 3 of the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which requires full accounting of redactions made in a list of every government official and, quote, politically exposed person, end quote, named in the released files. I'm going to show you the full list and the letter, and we'll talk about that right now. Also, Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein a list of the real Illuminati, like the official Illuminati, around with that. But let's jump into this live breaking news of Todd Blanche and Pam Bondi sending this letter about fulfilling their promise for the Epstein Transparency Act. Here we go. Okay, so here is the letter. It's on Valentine's Day of all times. I hope you guys had a wonderful Valentine's Day. Wishing you nothing but the best. You can see here it's addressed to Chairman Jim Jordan, Chuck Grassley, Ranking Member Dick Durbin, Ranking Member Jamie Ratty Rat Raskin. The Epstein's Files Transparency Act, Section 3, Section 3 report to Congress. 2 words, Nez, decaf. Section 3 of the Epstein Files Transparency Act requires the Department of Justice, within 15 days of completing the release required under the Act, to submit to the House and Senate, blah, 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 categories of records released in accordance with the requirements of the Act as described in various department submissions to the courts of the Southern District of New York assigned to the Epstein and Maxwell prosecutions and related orders. The department released all, quote, records, documents, communications, and investigative materials in the possession of the department that, quote, relate to, end quote, any of 9 categories. And so this is what's really, really interesting. You can see some of the names. You'll see U.S. presidents and family, U.S. politicians and officials, foreign leaders and royals, business tech people like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, celebrities like Beyonce, Cher, and Mick Jagger, media and legal like Alan Dershowitz. The DOJ states that no records were withheld, quote, on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity. Describe the abuse occurred during parties further identified as a friend of, okay, in approximately 1996, resided with redacted, an unknown man abducted redacted from her home, whence, here's the big part right here, she later woke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter. That is Jay-Z's real name. Obviously, his parents didn't name him Jay-Z. That's his hip-hop name, his brand name. Well, all I got to say. Okay, I can't wait to get your thoughts on that. All right.
Yeah, so here's the Illuminati family list, which is just like complete tinfoil hat fodder, because these are the same family names that, you know, conspiracy theorists have been trumpeting for years. And now it's an official, you know, memo to the DOJ.
This right here absolutely ran my blood cold. Okay, I have to share this with you right here. And what I want to share with you first is, okay, in full transparency, that right there is the file number, EFTA 01082667 in the DOJ files. I want to be very, very transparent. Where am I getting my information from? Look at this list, you guys. You're not going to believe this. Illuminati families and their associates. Look at the names. The Astor bloodline, the Bundy bloodline, the Collins bloodline. These are some of the most notorious, nefarious families in the history of the world. The DuPont bloodline, the Freeman bloodline, the Kennedy bloodline, the Lee bloodline, the Onassis bloodline, the Reynolds bloodline, the Rockefeller, the Rothschild. Starting to make sense now, y'all? The Russell bloodline, the Van Duyn bloodline. It goes on and on. The Mormon leadership, the Disney bloodline. Wow. All the conspiracy theorists.
So I definitely wanted to include this because he mentioned the Disney bloodline. And so you Disney experts, you know, I'd love to, you know, see if we can get Gary Wayne on here to, you know, help us understand the Disney bloodline.
Absolutely.
But Gary would be a great guest. Now that all this information has come out, I'd love to have Gary back on the show, Jeremiah, and to discuss some of these names and these rituals that they were doing. He could probably kind of historically walk us through the blood cults and how they trace back to the ancient Illuminati, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right now should be, I mean, they should just be getting a giant apology letter from the public because everything they've said, they must be cheering right now. everything they've said has absolutely come true. Disney,
He's
the
talking about
Mormon
conspiracy
leadership,
theorists.
the Moravian bloodline, the Van Duyn, the Russell, Rothschild, Rockefeller, all of these names.
Okay, so yeah, get ready, preppers. The apocalypse is here. Yeah, it's no coincidence that as they are announcing all of these things, we're seeing a simultaneous collapse in certain industries and political chains. But what are your guys' thoughts so far?
I mean, I think you hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah, like I said, I'd like to hear what Gary Wynn has to say. He would be the expert.
Yeah, and thank you to my dad. He sent me that last video, kind of somebody going through what memo was sent to the DOJ. And you know, we've covered this topic of anti-Semitism, and of course, if you guys follow us, you'll understand there's an unapologetic sense of humor here that I assure you is not based in hate at all. However, I think it's very important to point out that, did you guys know that not all Jews support the modern nation state of Israel? And so there is a bunch of kind of hoodwinking happening when it comes to terminology. There's an ability for evil people to hide behind a 4-letter word, and then they call anybody who wants to question what they're doing anti-Semitic. And yet we see, you know, there's very large Jewish communities that vocally oppose certain directions of the Israeli government. Protesters happening as of late, you know, standing up against the draft and such. But, you know, this was a speech back in the late 2017 or 2018 from a large Orthodox community. But I just want people to know that, you know, modern. Let's just play the video.
If anybody has Rahmanis, has mercy on Jews all over the world, please, if you're Jewish or non-Jewish, let the world know. Jews all over the world are not responsible for the actions of the state of Israel. Israel doesn't represent the Jewish people. Israel claims to represent all the Jews all over the world. If I don't like my president in the United States, I can
Are
move
these
to
the
Mexico,
curlicues?
Canada, or Japan, and I'm free of him. But because I'm Jewish, wherever I go, Benjamin Netanyahu claims he's my leader, and Israel claims to be a democracy. This sounds like a dictatorship to me, not a democracy. We didn't vote for him. He doesn't represent us. But because the Zionists give out this message that they're the state of the Jewish people, Jews all over the world are blamed for whatever Israel does. Let the world know.
Thank you.
Jews all over the world are not responsible for the actions of the state of Israel. Israel doesn't represent the Jewish people.
Yeah, so, you know, this is a very, very pressing topic in today's headlines and culture. There's a lot of the younger generation that are coming out very strongly against the 4-letter word. But people got to understand that there are people that set up the modern nation state of Israel, the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, you know, these people that represent this term on the bottom of the screen here, that in their religious practice, according to like things like the Epstein files, it reveals that these people are, you know, have very evil beliefs and ideas to control the world, and it's not based on the God of the Bible. It's, you know, but you know, there is this thing happening. It's really strange in our culture today, and it does remind me of Albert Pike's third letter, you know, the pseudepigrapha that claimed that the Third World War will be one of religious purification, and that the true religion of Luciferianism will rise from the ashes. But we're definitely seeing the pitting of religious cultures and identities against each other right now. So, for example, you know, here's a rabbi, you know, it's a great danger to the Jewish people to say that Zionists are its leaders. All the nations therefore mistakenly think that they speak in the name of the Jewish people, and because of this, they turn into anti-Semites. And Jeremiah, your father covered pretty extensively sometimes the nation state of Israel and the formation and kind of the modern deception of dispensationalism and Zionism and how it has kind of blinded some of the modern Christian church and our allegiance of supporting people that in their essence are actually very anti-Christ and reject the, Yeshua as their Messiah. And yet there's kind of this compatriotism to support the nation state because we interpret it as a fulfillment of biblical prophecy. And Rob, really broke this down in a very poetic, respectful, honest way. And we do need to ask the question, who truly are the people of the book compared to the people that are like, holding the strings behind guys like Epstein, right? Yeah. And not be afraid to question, even though terms like anti-Semite are thrown out, because this is not a hate towards anybody. It's just that people are being deceived by these big political kind of elements. And so I'm just trying to show and demonstrate that there's a variety out there, and not everyone supports Mossad, right? And if Mossad's behind the, some of these different things, this is some footage as of late of the Orthodox, the Jewish community there in Israel protesting against the government.
That's against the Jewish Bible, according to our belief. And I have, Baruch Hashem, more than 200 grandchildren, and I have more than 19 children, Baruch Hashem. And we are ready to be killed, and we prefer better to be killed by the Arabs than to join the Israeli forces.
Wow. So, just pretty interesting state of the world. And as we see this intelligence agency connection with the Epstein files, and then the recent trumping up of anti-Semitism fears and people like Candace Owens being blasted as anti-Semites because they're investigating these controllers that claim to be the 4-letter word, right? Oh, yeah. Man,
I hope I'm on that list next year. Hope we make it that big, to where questioning things makes you an anti-Semite. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, this next clip is a summary of how the Fed has officially recognized pretty much that the 2020 election was stolen by Joe Biden. Here's just a few minutes of a Benny clip breaking it down.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. It is absolutely doomsday for election thieves in Georgia for the 2020 election. The FBI has now released its affidavit that they used as a predicate to raid the election center in the state of Georgia, and it is absolutely and totally devastating. Lib's worst nightmare, observing that at least one file with dates modified in 2024, along with others modified prior to January 11th, 2024. So what they're saying here is that the election officials went into the files and they changed them. They changed the ballots. Whether they miscounted ballots, they uploaded images of ballots that didn't exist. They were short by 17,000 ballots on the official tally. This is completely and totally devastating. Let's read. Last month's FBI agents executed a search warrant in Union City, Georgia, making sharp escalation in scrutiny surrounding Fulton County's handling of the 2020 election. The FBI has now reportedly substantiated major irregularities in vote counting from Fulton County, Georgia during the 2020 election and is investigating whether those errors were deliberate violations of federal law. The affidavit filed by FBI Special Agent Ryan Hughes Evans last month, which was unsealed today, lays out 5 categories of confirmed election fraud, mishandling of ballots, raising questions, simmering for over 5 years, scanned images of 500,000 ballots counted during the initial count and 500,000 ballots tallied during the state's recount. What? So they don't have the actual ballots themselves. County officials have confirmed that during the recount, some ballots were scanned multiple times. Ballot images obtained through public records request show identical markings appearing in duplicated images.
So what do you guys think of that? Like, totally vindicated. Years later, we even were covering the 200 Mules documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, I saw it happen live. I used to work the night shift, and I saw the little beep boop, and I was just like, "This is not right. Like, this is not right. Something weird going on." But glad they're able to prove some of it, or I hope they are.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and part of me, the true ultimate conspiracy would be, what if the election was not stolen, but purposely contrived so that Biden would win in order to give enough of a fermentation time for Trump to kind of technically be in power like 3 terms in a row. Because whenever you think about like the time it takes for political motions to actually the ball to get rolling, what if they needed that time of Joe Biden's administration to kind of be that space for it to cook? And then he comes in, on the back end. I don't know. Like, cause if he had won the election, I don't think he would have been able to accomplish the same things he did.
Selected, not elected. I agree with that. Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if he did win that election, I wonder who would have won the last one.
Yes, it would have been a totally different world. We wouldn't have had that, the assassination attempt wouldn't have happened. Charlie Kirk would probably still been alive. My goodness, guys, it would have been a different world if they had only just let Trump win that election.
Yeah.
Or it would have happened regardless. And they would have found a different way to.
Yeah, I mean, if it all is playing into this grand, stage play. Oh man. Let's just continue on. Just to wrap up this news segment, just a couple of really interesting Asmund Gold clips that I've been enjoying.
666, Israel's flag was burned in Esfahan, Iran.
So he was investigating whether the burning of the Baal statues in Iran was AI, and it's not. It is legit. And there was interesting things like Israel viewing the burning of the Baal statues as a declaration of war, which to me is interesting. Even though they had Bibi's picture and Trump's picture like plastered to it, you can see all the symbols that are carved into this edifice that they burned, which is like the Star of David, like the Egyptian eye, the Freemasonic thing.
Like, I'm not even sure. It's not. Okay, so somebody in chat says...
Yeah, so a lot of people saying that Epstein belonged to the cult of Baal, and we know that child sacrifice and all that goes way back to Moloch and Baal worship. And so from the perspective of the Iranians, right, they come from this regime that was pointing at America as the greater Satan. How much validation did all these Iranian theologians and, imams get when they were like, hey, it turns out they are the greater Satan. Look at Jeffrey Epstein and all the politicians. We were totally right. And so they're out there burning Baal statues in the street because it totally turned out kind of true that the politicians were like, oh gosh. Yeah. Look at them.
So they're going to burn the effigy of Baal?
Keep in mind the triumphal arch that had a big pentagram in it during the Olympics Winter Game opening ceremony actually historically has connections to Baal and Moloch, like the triumphal arch of Titus, and how truly the world is in bondage to some of these death cults in our symbology and our architecture. Yeah.
American citizens to make sure.
Okay, so here's one I wanted to get to real quick before we wrap up. There's a real-time hate speech monitoring cell, basically, and they flash on screen some of the hate speech that they're monitoring. And I, kind of want to take notes because it kind of gives you their playbook of what words are on the blacklist, right?
Patriot Stadium, a command center of stats.
Nothing says patriot more than having a bunch of Israelis try to monitor American citizens to make sure that they don't criticize Israel.
Hate speech online. It shows where it's coming from, the time of day, and how it's trending, especially among younger people.
Oh, I guess Nick must have went to bed. It's getting even better.
Inside the Patriot Stadium,
I
a
guess Nick
command
went to
center
bed.
of stats. Tracking.
Nothing says patriot.
Okay, so look here. We're just gonna zoom this in. This is the list of phrases that they were honing in on in this hate speech monitoring cell, and we already know because of all the laws being passed recently of all the different anti-Semitism laws and people can't criticize the nation state of Israel. Just look at these tag phrases, like if you're basically using any of these terms, you are on the watch list. And yeah. Hello.
I'm screwed.
Hello.
I guess we're
Heads
on
up,
the
Jeremiah.
watch list. We're on the watch list.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks for watching, guys.
So yeah, just to wrap up, and we're gonna get to Jeremiah's. Please excuse my sense of humor, so don't go anywhere, guys. The last comment was something we showed in our live stream that I just wanted to reiterate, that we truly are entering into the new world order, and it is the Trump world order.
And
all right. Well, we're having some technical difficulties on
Big
our
booty
end.
Latina.
But
As Alex Stein would say.
Long story short, JD Vance just did a recent interview talking about the Trump world order, and we're entering into this new phase, and it's pretty interesting. But let's laugh a little bit, Jeremiah. What do you say?
All right, guys. Yeah, as I always say, if you like any of these jokes, please tell me your favorite one. If you can't stand any of them, or if you get offended, I'm sorry that you can't take a joke. So let's go.
Some people might find some of these jokes offensive. If you are one of those people, I'm sorry that you cannot take a joke. Viewer discretion is advised.
Never ever back down when you're accused of being a racist.
I think for just a few days. But I don't know. I went to a gas station. I went in a grocery store this morning, and it was spectacular. Being a white guy that has German features, classical German features, and with a Hitler mustache, and it was very interesting. I could tell you it had a wild effect on women. I thought they were about to start throwing their panties at me, and they just didn't know what to do. They're like melting. So I don't know. Maybe I should, for a while, just as a social experiment, keep the mustache. What's everybody think?
I don't think he did it. But you know what? Even if he did do it, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
That's a sad Heinrich in there. I got Charlie to do a little bit of something.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who needed to hear this, but just know
I
you
love
are
you
loved.
more than I can say. I love you twice as much tomorrow. Love you more than I can say.
And I said, I'm not scared of a germ. You know, I used to snort cocaine off of toilet seats. And then, yeah, I know this disease will kill me.
Did he actually say that?
I was recently enjoying Star Wars Episode 1, and I just want to let everyone know that Jar Jar Binks, although retarded, was pretty cool. I've been working on my Jar Jar impression, and I'd like to do it for you now. Okay? Here goes. He's thinking about that Epstein fella. Rich with big island and fancy plane. Powerful peoples go there.
Muslims, they are very dedicated to their religion. They're so dedicated that they name their kids Muhammad. Christians don't do that. Christians aren't naming their kids Jesus. Jews aren't naming their kids Satan.
So you guys should send this to somebody that you don't like. Oh, but I thought I had to add it. It's so funny. For all you Friends lovers out there, I don't know. I could never like Friends at all. Sorry. Joseph Goebbels. I would say he was a pretty close friend. Henry Kindler.
They were all Satanists too.
Yep. He was wearing a woman's hat. He was a dude.
Eva Braun.
Yeah.
Explain something about what is called the Jewish lobby in this country. Their belief is that being for Israel first, that does not mean you're putting America second. An American president, however, has to approach it in a different way, in my opinion. He's got always to think first of what is best for America. An American president must make a decision that does not, in effect, give the Israelis a blank check. And one example of that is a decision that I made. I decided early on in our administration that we were going to seek good relations with Egypt and others of Israel's neighbors. Many of my Israeli friends didn't like that because they wanted a special relationship with Israel and Israel only.
So before I move on, I just want to say that Nixon was probably one of our best presidents, and he was falsely impeached by certain kinds of people, if you look deeply into it. So, yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there, just kind of throw you guys off. So.
Nixon, eh?
Mm-hmm. He should have done what Trump did.
Nose.
Yeah, well, you know, some would say some other nosy people were you know, Watergate. So, anyways, back to the funny.
Am I being anti-Semitic if I say that the United States taxpayers should not supply more weapons to Israel?
That statement alone is not anti-Semitic. It does not attack Jewish identity.
Rabbi?
I just wrote a children's book. Can't run no company with a hole in your neck. A woman's rise to power. It's called I Did It. Yes, me, Erica.
Charlie Kirk in heaven, looking for the
The end of you pooping in a bucket. Every time you're gonna go to the bathroom, where are you gonna go?
In the toilet.
In the toilet. In the toilet.
Exactly. Going in the bucket. Kanye during his apology tour in Israel. So, Jake, what was your favorite one?
Kanye's you know, I could see Kanye doing an apology tour because he
gas
recently
like
did that. Oh no! Okay, I didn't catch it.
You didn't get it?
Okay, I get it now. That's terrible. Oh my gosh.
He was guessing them all out.
Yeah.
Oh.
What about you, Opa?
Oh, I like the one where they that lady was in her room and they were all marching and everything was shaking like an earthquake. And
Well, I will
thought
say
that-
a human reviewer did watch our last episode, which previously was the most offensive one I've ever made. And somebody at YouTube watched it all the way through and said that it was okay for all advertisers. So I will say that. And thank you, whoever watched, for having a sense of humor. You guys let me know your favorite down in the comments section. And, I can't control my sense of humor, That's the thing. Nobody can. I think some things are funny and,
All right, let's talk about TrutherCon.
Oh yeah, TrutherCon 2026. I could play this official ad, and it's going to be more epic than ever than the last year. I truly believe, and so I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Welcome to TrutherCon. Our vision is to grow the largest and most profound exposition of truth in the modern age. Here, no truth is beyond reproach. An amazing opportunity for you guys to connect with one another, for us to ask hard questions for the presenters that are coming up, because we're all here with a common goal, to seek after truth together,
By the way, this song is available on iTunes.
Truthers come, welcome to the con. Largest, bestest we've ever been on. World stage, amazing speakers. Lifting the veil, we the truth seekers. TrutherCon, we're on. Come along. Join the TrutherCon. Join the TrutherCon. Speakers exposing the dark, the shadow, the arc. From start to the finish, the feeling is real. Concealing is peeling, revealing the dealings. Uncovering truth, it's a ride to the ceiling. Wake up, what do you see? Could it be? Who are we? No, not me. It's all a conspiracy. It's a smoke screen. And I don't mean to weed. When I say these days, nothing's as it seems. From big pharma to big tech to big food to big banks. Big dudes making big moves. Keep you down and depressed in the press. Cause your heart is heavy and your brain is confused. The Bilderbergs and the Rothschilds and the Bushes and the Clintons. Man, the whole system is wild. And it takes a village, they protect the child. Take the vaccine, well, it ain't that convenient. It's a circle jerk, bunch of perverts. Elitists, running the world, pulling the strings like puppets. They was waiting for the call, another minute, proving out the truth uncovered. It's been going on for centuries. I don't trust the news or the TV or the priest. They say the Bible was written by man, so who do you trust? I don't trust the government, the voice of the people. They hear it, they fear it, they feel it. We nearly at the limit. With truth is limitless. Truth is limitless. Truth. We the truth seekers. This is TrutherCon. Join us. Truthers come. Welcome to the con. Largest, bestest we've ever been on. World stage, amazing speakers. Lifting the veil. We the truth seekers. TrutherCon. War. Come along. Join the TrutherCon. Join the TrutherCon.
Bigger and better than ever before.
This jam is baby oil free.
Yep. Grown up. You could for real buy that song on iTunes. Jake didn't know. Jake thought that was AI.
Yeah, iTunes. You can buy it on just about any place. Amazon. Yeah, Amazon, iTunes. Stream it on Spotify and all those other places. It's available all around the world. Lots of places.
And soon a song that me and Opa did together will be coming out, and I'm I'm really, really excited for that one. So,
and somebody mentioned Johnny Cash. There's also one that is coming out that Jeremiah did as Skiba or Skiba. That's Creep in Johnny Cash's voice.
Yeah, Creep by
I'm
Radiohead.
looking forward to that one.
Yeah,
I was a big fan of that song growing up.
They had to come back and say that, because I originally sold it as it's a lost tape, you know, and people actually bought it and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited," and I was like, "No, it's me. Like, stop." And so I guess the metadata said that, you know, the original title, and then TuneCore, which is what we publish music with, was like freaking out about it. They thought it was really a lost tape. Fun.
That's cool.
But yeah, guys, it's been fun, and we'll see you Thursday for the Discord hangout. And any final words, gentlemen?
Keep your head on a swivel. There's a lot of stuff happening, and feel free to drop a comment or send us a message if you guys see any breaking news that you want us to pay attention to. But yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody.
All right,
Absolutely.
Adios, amigos.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.